Good morning everyone, John here, and you're watching In the Loop Travel, where in this trip we are in New Zealand. Now this is a brand new country for us and we're going to see it in style. We are sailing on the luxury expedition ship from Ponant Le Laperouse, and when we go ashore we'll be traveling with Backroads. Now this active travel company has been around for 4 decades and they're going to take us hiking, biking, kayaking, and all sorts of other fun activities. In this video, I'm going to show you why when you travel in New Zealand, you should do it on a Backroads multi-sport adventure cruise. Kia ora. That's a greeting in the native Maori language of New Zealand. This voyage began with Backroads in Auckland, which is in the northern part of the country's North Island, before we boarded our 184 passenger cruise ship, which would be our home for the week. We took a ferry over to Waiheke Island for a short hike on a coastal trail. Then it was time for a lunch at Cable Bay Vineyards, where many of us also had time to sample a flight of their wines. After lunch, some of us took a short afternoon hike, and then we went on the ferry back to Auckland to board the cruise ship Le Laperouse. This was a nice warm-up hike to get us ready for what to expect over the next 9 days. I have a couple videos that show you this ship and my cabin, and they are linked in the description box for this video. After sailing all night, we reached Tauranga, where we really began to get the idea of what a Backroads multi-sport adventure is all about. We had a challenging bike ride, enjoyed a picnic lunch, and a fun kayaking session at McLaren Falls Park. On the lake, we saw dozens of water birds, including numerous duck species, and an area of the lake that had a distinctive Jurassic Park feel. It was great to get outside for these activities each day before coming back to the ship for drinks, food, fun, and a night of rest before starting it all over again. On to the White Island. This is an active volcano, and we took Zodiacs ashore from our ship. You can immediately smell the spewing sulfur mists that swirl around this place. We went for a short hike around and learned about the history of this place, which resembles a moonscape. As we got closer to the crater, it was necessary to have hard candies in our mouths and put our masks on to keep us from coughing. We headed back to the ship after a light day of activity and took part in the captain's reception and meal on board. Napier is known as the fruit basket of New Zealand because of its wealth of agricultural products. It was a day of biking, 20 plus miles, along gorgeous coastline and into farming areas that grow grapes, pears, and apples. The ride ended at Black Barn Vineyards for a fantastic meal and more wine tasting. We reach Wellington, the nation's capital at the southern end of the North Island. This is a busier urban center, but Backroads found a nice hike in a park and forested area near the city's historic cemetery. After a scenic hike and box lunch and the Maori song and dance presentation on the ship, we had free time to explore Wellington. I went for a run, visited a museum, and found one of the city's awesome craft breweries. We sail across Cook Strait overnight, and the cruise reaches the South Island in Picton. This is an especially scenic town right on a bay, and we awoke to a beautifully calm morning anchored just outside. After breakfast, our group loaded into a ferry to reach a trailhead where we get a chance for a good long hike on Queen Charlotte Track. Our 9-mile route takes us into a bird-filled forest where we saw fantails and grouse. Plus, the views of the sound below always seem to appear around the next corner. You know the drill by now. We headed back to the ship in the afternoon to enjoy cocktail hour, dinner, and retelling the stories of the day. Le Laperouse sails into Fiordland National Park on the west coast of the island, and we'll spend the day exploring this amazing natural wonderland. Milford Sound is filled with hundreds of waterfalls after a previous day of heavy rains. We are in the Milford Sound, and I've come up to the top deck. Captain has pulled Le Laperouse right up nose first toward an awesome waterfall. It's a rainy day, but this is still spectacular. During morning, we sail deep into the fjord and enjoy the sights and sounds from all different vantage points throughout the ship. When afternoon comes, it's time to head off the ship for our adventures, and today it's kayaking. During about 2 hours of paddling, we venture into all sorts of nooks around Milford Sound to gaze up at the impressive cliff faces and seek out enchanting emerald-colored coves. Once we get back to shore to return the kayaks, I was excited to have close encounters with the protected kea, an alpine parrot. 5 of them dropped in on us as we returned to shore, and I was able to capture a few pictures. This was our last day of activity off the ship with Backroads. The perfect weather combined with great new friends and made for a special capper to this memorable cruise.